Hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Welcome, welcome. Um, okay, so we are back. And before anything, I just want to do a little quick test. The same test I always do, but I just wanna, yeah. Give me one moment. You will hear double for a moment. You will hear double for a moment. You will hear. Okay. Double. So everything is fine. That's all I wanted to know. We're fine. Okay, so why did I emphasize so much on this audio test? Well, the thing is, I got a new audio interface. So yeah, it's a pretty good one. It's not the most expensive one, but it's a pretty solid one. I had a Behringer UMC 22, I think it is. And yeah, it was fine, and I had it for like, I don't know how many years, 7 years, I think. I bought it in like 2017, and yeah, even 8 years. It's, yeah, a lot of time. And yeah, because you can see the guitars back there, I make music basically. I play guitar, I make my own music and stuff. And yeah, I had this like that audio interface, like the Behringer one. And yeah, it was like one of the cheapest ones, and it was fine, but like it's not like pro quality, like professional quality. So now I got a really good one. It's actually pretty nice. The quality is really good. It's crystal clear. It's like it has basically no noise. Yeah, I don't know. It's amazing. So I had to set up everything again, the drivers and everything, and I just wanted to check if OBS wasn't broken or anything. So I think everything is fine. I just had to switch again the microphone device, the input device, but now everything is fine. Okay, so that's amazing. Yeah, I'm really happy with this. So yeah, actually you wouldn't hear any difference because I'm using the exact same microphone. Maybe the quality could be a bit better, but it, I don't think it's going to be noticeable. But for this, like for the stream, and because I already do some post-processing for the microphone, well, some processing, I added some compression and EQ so that it sounds a bit better, because I'm not in a place that has like the acoustic treatment or anything. It's just my living room. So yeah. But anyways, welcome to the stream. Welcome everyone. Yeah, so today we're going to be working on character systems, and basically what we have to well, the task we have for today is this one, which is refactor behavior states. Okay, so I will be working on that. I have been working on many things. I have been doing some refactoring on many systems for the astronaut. So not only for the astronaut, but also for like any entity in the game. But yeah, a couple of those were specifically for the astronaut. So yeah, we're gonna continue with that. And yeah, the behavior system is, well, is one of the systems that is the most I don't know how to put it, but like I shouldn't have to do a lot of work on it. I think I just need to restructure the actual states for the astronaut, but not the actual system. The system is pretty fine. It's amazing. Well, not amazing, but I'm pretty proud of the system. It's really nice. It's a basic like finite state machine, if you know what that is. But in any case, yeah, so before I start, I want to, for the people watching on YouTube, not necessarily now live, like, yeah, I'm asking for everyone, but I know that there's some people that watch from YouTube after I finish the live stream and the video gets like uploaded there and published on YouTube. So some videos get some views sometimes, and I noticed that there's some kind of traffic there happening. So some videos get some likes, and there's some new subscriptions. So yeah, what I wanted to ask is mainly for those people who are watching mainly from YouTube, because I know in YouTube the content is usually a bit different, and I know there's like people there is used to, I don't know, watching different format of videos, and like my main idea with this is to just document like the process, and I'm just like doing the live stream and then publishing on YouTube the live stream, and that's it. And I have like a huge playlist in the YouTube channel called Voyager Dev Journey, and then you can see, like, you can watch all of the live streams, and they are like complete unedited live streams. So the same way I stream it, I just publish them on YouTube and they are there forever. So that's my main idea. It's just kind of some kind of documentation of the whole process. So yeah, I'm not doing any editing on the videos. I'm not cutting stuff. I'm not making it like more formatted to the standards of what YouTube watchers watch, I think. So I wanted to ask if, I don't know, the opinion of the people watching from YouTube, if there's anybody watching this from YouTube after the live stream is happened, are you actually interested in, for example, me like cutting some pieces of the stream where I talk about certain, I don't know, topics or systems? Or for example, right now I'm going to work on the behavior state system for the astronaut, which is basically the state machine for the astronaut, which handles like the character states such as idle, running, attacking, jumping, so how that works and all that kind of thing. I'm not thinking about like making a new video, like actually making video content. I don't think I can do that because I'm not I don't know, but I was thinking about that maybe some people could be interested in me just editing some parts of the video, like making short videos where I like compress a lot of the actual parts of the stream where I talk about the system and how to do X and Y, and then upload them as maybe, I don't know, maybe just video, like YouTube videos, like common videos, or YouTube shorts. So yeah, let me know in the comments if there's anybody who watches this and is interested in that kind of thing for the channel. Just let me know, just drop a comment, and yeah, or if anything, if you have any suggestions for the stream, or what I don't know, you want to see in the stream. Like I said, I'm usually just working on the game and working on this thing I want to work on. So that's the main thing of the stream. It's just me working on the game and talking about what I'm doing, and maybe sometimes trying to explain what this is, what the thing I'm doing is, and how to do it. Sometimes I try to explain stuff, but this is not like a tutorial. It's more like a documentation or registry. That's my point. Because I don't really feel in the position to actually make tutorials, because I don't know, must be imposter syndrome or something like that, but I don't really feel like I could be teaching people on YouTube. I don't know. there's plenty of other people like already explaining the same things. But in any case, yeah, I think in the future I would want to, when I am at the point with the game where I actually have the content and things like actual gameplay and different things I can show of the game, I would like to start like making content about the game, but not necessarily tutorials or stuff like that. So in any case, just drop a comment with your thoughts and I will check that out. Okay, so now we can just start with some Voyager dev. And yeah, so we are going to be working on, as I mentioned before, the behavior state system of the astronaut. So what's this? Okay, so to give you a little heads up of how the hey Bacon, how you doing? Yeah, I'm basically streaming from Twitch and YouTube at the same time, because yeah, my idea is that all of the streams are going to be archived on YouTube and published, of course, so anyone can watch every stream. It's like a documentation, or like yeah, it's like an archive for the whole development process of the game. I like it. I like that idea. I don't know if anyone is interested in watching like how the game was done and everything. Yeah. So yeah, that's great. Okay, so I'm curious, how do you find the YouTube stream? Because I have my Brand 747 channel, YouTube channel, which is my original YouTube channel, and I don't really upload content there. It's like I have a couple videos I did like 15 years ago, but then this like the streams for this kind of content and for Voyager and stuff. Oh, my Discord, makes sense. I'm so dumb. I forgot I always send the link there. Yeah, because I was thinking, yeah, how come you found like my YouTube stream from the actual YouTube feed? But yeah, makes sense. Okay, great. So I would just basically start by showing a little bit of how the structure of the astronaut prefab is, because I think that's kind of a good visual way of understanding like how, at least how I structure the thing, like the character in this case. So this is the astronaut, okay? This is the object, you can place it wherever, and this is the player, okay? So how do I structure it? I usually like having the main, like the root object, have the actual rigid body component, and then the main, kind of the main script, okay? So this would be the main script that handles all of the other subsystems within the character. So then inside that, I would have another separate object that contains the sprite renderer, okay? So this is the actual sprite. And here's where I have the animator, but the thing is, I don't use the Unity animator because I have used it in the past, but it's for 2D it's a little overkill, I would say, because there's a couple things I don't really like for the about using the Unity animator for 2D. One of them is let me see if I can actually open up the animation window. So you have this, right? You have two things. You have the animator window, okay, and then you have the animation window. So the animator window is basically this thing where you define the actual states, okay? So I cannot do anything because I don't have an animator controller open, but here you can define the states, and you can also define the transitions between states, okay? And in the actual transitions, you can define the blending, like how much time it takes to go from one state to the other. And you can define parameters of like saying, okay, there's for this state to transition to this other one, this parameter, like this boolean has to be true, for example, or you can set like all different types of variables here. I think it's boolean, integer, and float, and also string, I guess. So yeah, you can do those kind of things, but the thing is, first of all, this is an animator system that's designed for 3D and for rigs, basically for 3D characters, 3D models have rigs that define the bone structure of how each body part moves and rotates, and the limits, and all of the joints between the bones. So basically what the transitions do in this system is basically interpolate movements and rotations between those bones, which are basically transforms in the world space. And that's for 3D models, that's actually amazing, it's really good. But for 2D, we don't have that, unless you're using some kind of 2D rig system, like Spine 2D, I think there's one called like that. Unless you're using something like that, the actual Unity animator is kind of an overkill, because in that case you would be just having all of the states, and you can define the transitions, but you're not going to be actually using the feature of the transition and the blending and the interpolation between the bones and everything. You're not going to be using that. You just want the transitions to define the parameters and the conditions to transition from one state to the other. But you can easily do that via code, and with a much simpler system. So that's one of the things. And the other thing is that whenever you're here, what am I doing here? So yeah, whatever. Let's say you have this animation, okay? And this animation is the run animation for the astronaut. And then you go and just, where is this thing? Crouch. Let's say we have the jump thing here, okay? So I add all of the sprites here. So you can see here, well, I can't really zoom. Well, maybe you can see it, but you can see each one of the keyframes it's one of the sprites in the jump animation, okay? Actually, you can already see it here, okay? So what the hell is this doing? This is basically defining like the duration of each one of the sprites over time, and that's perfectly fine. It's a visual like editor. You have your keyframes, and you can even add events. So you can actually add events here if you have a script attached to the thing, okay? And that's how like it works. And yeah, that's basically one of the main, like many things that you would need from an animator system. Because for example, imagine that at some point in the jump you want to, or imagine this is an attack animation. At some point you want to activate the hitbox and then disable the hitbox, for example. So that's one of the things you can do with the animation events. But there's one thing that I don't really like about this, and this is because this animation timeline is time-based and not frame-based. So I've had some issues happen to me when, I don't know if this is already fixed in the newer versions of Unity, but way back then when I was making a 2D game, a 2D fighting game in 2018, like my first 2D game in Unity, my first game in Unity, I would say, I was using this system, and depending on the frame rate of like in what the game was actually running, sometimes the event will not be executed at all. So sometimes, for example, let's say I activate a hitbox here and then disable it here. Sometimes it wouldn't even activate or wouldn't even disable. So I don't really know. I'm not entirely sure how it works. But the thing is, since then I said, okay, so basically the best thing I can do for me and just for, I don't know, to make my life easier is to just create my own animation system, okay, which is a really simple thing. It's just a script that says, okay, give me a sprite sheet or give me the current sprite and I will show it in the actual animator, like the actual sprite renderer. So basically what the animation was doing with what I was just showing, like the jump animation, you could see the frames here. It was basically just replacing the sprite in the sprite renderer. That's all. Like, there's no other thing that's happening, and that's what I'm saying when like that's when what I mean when I say it's a little overkill to use the Unity animator system, because all of the other things where Unity like uses the blending times and the transition times to interpolate bone positions and rotations, all of that, you're not using any of that. So yeah, that's why I created this little animator system, which is called Neptosmic. And yeah, this is basically a system that says, okay, give me the animation you want me to play and I will play it, and it will play it at the actual settings that the animation has. So I created another script level object class called animation sheet, which basically contains an array of the animation like sprites. So the jump has these 4 sprites. Okay, this is the sprite sheet, and I just drag it here, and then I can set here if it's looped or not, the frame rate, like this is the actual velocity of like how it plays. And then I have this, well, I added this little thing, which is using a little editor scripting to show here the sprite sheet. So for each one of the animations, you can see all of the sprites there. Yeah, it's not perfect. It's just to have a visual thing that shows the sprites there. But yeah, basically, then the other thing I added is that basically I can define, for example, this is the frame 1. I can define, I know that this animation has 4 frames. So if I press this, this is going to create 4 items in this list, which correspond to each one of the frames in the animation. And then on each one, I can define if it has an event. I can define if it activates the hurtbox or deactivates it. And the same thing with the hitbox. So that's basically what I did. This is really, I don't know, really basic, and I think I just did it just so I had some kind of workaround for activating a hitbox and that kind of thing, which should be enough for a simple combat system. But I think in the future I would like to actually work on this a bit more so that I can go into each one of the animation files and have a better way of editing when certain thing happens. And the good thing is that this, as I mentioned, is frame based. So basically, if I want, for example, one frame to last longer, I just need to repeat it and that's it. So yeah, that's basically how I how I created this animation system. So yeah, I was like mainly explaining the structure of the astronaut character and the systems and how I created this. So yeah, I was in a bit of a tangent explaining the animatosmic system, which is yeah, this is pretty good. It's more than enough for what I need here in the 2D system, the 2D characters. So yeah, that's pretty good. And I can also set the actual speed of the animation. I can see which frame we're in. I can set like different kinds of things. So there's one really cool thing that I did for the system, and that's basically having a functionality for animating manually. So hey, oh Ponce, hi, what are you making? So welcome to the stream. I am basically making a 2D pixel art game. It's a procedural game set in space. So basically it's kind of like a infinite universe where you can explore like so many planets, kind of like No Man's Sky but in 2D, something like that. So yeah, that's basically what I'm making. And right now I'm just kind of explaining, going through everything I have in the player, under the player systems. So yeah. So the thing I was explaining is that I have this manual animating thing, which basically I can set the frame, the current frame of the animation manually. So what that allows me is to basically do the things I'm doing with the jump animation or the jump hole animation, for example. So let me just go there and show you really quick. Oh wow, is this your first game? Oh no, actually this is, I don't know, I made so many games at this point. But this is my first big solo game, I would say. Yeah, I like as a solo game dev, I only made a couple of jump games, but then this will be my first big big solo game, if you will. So yeah, if you want to see how it looks, it's really early in development, but I have a couple things. So yeah, you can explore like this. The graphics are kind of 16-bit, like inspired by Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo. Okay, because that sounds like a huge game for a first game. Yeah, actually, it's a really ambitious idea. I'm not planning on doing something like the same as No Man's Sky, because that game has a lot of things. I'm going a lot simpler than that, but yeah. Thank you very much for the follow. And now we're back to 80 followers again. In the previous stream, so there's something funny. In the previous stream we got to 80 followers and we completed the goal, the 80 follower goal. And then after I finished the stream, somebody unfollowed the channel, so we were back to 79. That was really funny. And now we're back at 80. So nobody unfollows, okay? So yeah, basically I'm going to make something that's, in terms of like content and all that kind of thing, it's going to be much simpler than No Man's Sky, but I think I will try to make something that's simple but enjoyable enough as its little thing. So yeah. But yeah, basically you can see whenever I jump, I would see my number go up and down too. yeah, that, I guess that's something that happens all the time. People follows and unfollows as they want, because maybe they're not interested anymore, or I don't know, whatever. It's all good. I'm just joking. So yeah, basically you can see that, for example, on this shoot animation, I'm holding the attack button, okay? So I can shoot directionally too. So what this does, the animation system is just saying, okay, play this animation. That's it. For the idle animation, the same thing. For the run animation, same thing. I press forward or any like horizontal direction, and it's going to start running and start playing the animation, looping forever. Okay, so that's what's happening. But for the jump animation, there's a different logic there. So whenever I jump, I'm setting the current frame of the jump animation tied to the actual velocity of the player. So if you're jumping, whenever your y velocity is positive, so you're going upwards, you're going to be on those frames, okay? So this is the frame that is being set whenever the y velocity is at a certain amount or higher. And then as the velocity start decreasing because of gravity, the frames, like the animation frame is going to be changing into the fall animation. So you can see here now the y velocity is starting to be negative. So now every frame is going to be, the animation frame is going to be changing based on that now. So you can see, and that's really good because you can see that whenever I do like a small jump, you can see the animation goes perfectly in sync with the velocity of the character. And then if I do a longer jump, you can see that the animation does the same. It's respecting the velocity and the animation frames that should be played at that moment. So I think that's really nice. And I also use that for the jetpack thing. So you can see that whenever the jetpack animation starts, if the y velocity is positive and above a certain threshold, is going to be this animation. But as soon as the y velocity starts decreasing, it's going to start like doing the other frames of the animation. Nice, ship it. Yeah, like this, it will be game of the year. So yeah, basically that's the other thing I implemented for my animation system. So that's for the animation system for the characters. Well, that animation system is like, it works for any kind of thing that wants to use it. If I have like an object or whatever thing, I can put it to anything. That's the good thing about it. Hey Lou, how you doing? Hello. Hello. Good mindset to have. Yeah. We should always stay positive, and yeah, it's a good thing. So that's the first thing, okay? We have the sprite and we have the animation system, okay? The Neptosmic, perfect. Now then I have this other, like, I like doing the like folder structure, and like even though these are game objects, but they are empty, they are just transforms, so I can put things inside here. So I like doing that, so that I use game objects as folders to organize things. So I have this systems folder where I put all of the subsystems of the character. So first of all, I have the input, astronaut input. So I have a class called input system, or input controller, I would say, where I have a set of different inputs that could be happening, okay? And in the case of the astronaut input, this is basically what reads the player's input, so your inputs. So whenever you're pressing, for example, left, then, well, I can actually show it in-game. It's going to be easier to explain. So you're going to see there, this is also something I did manually myself. I'm using for the input, like actually input API or whatever, I'm using a package called Rewired. where's this? So it's called Rewired, and it's a paid asset, and I bought it like a couple of years ago when the new Unity input system didn't exist. And now the new Unity input system kind of does the same thing, but not quite. So I don't know, Rewired is really good because it's basically compatible with any joystick or controller that exists. So it doesn't matter if you plug like a, I don't know, like a microwave into the USB, it's going to capture the proper inputs and it's going to configure the layout properly. So it's really good. But other than that, I'm using that as a way to capturing the inputs from the keyboard, mouse, controller, pad, whatever thing you're using to play the game. And then I'm using this system to actually set the actual values of the inputs that you're doing. So you can see now, for example, if I press right, you can see I'm pressing right now, for example, I'm pressing right, and you can see here, sorry, axis X is number 1 and 0 on the Y, and then here moving X is a boolean that's now checked, and moving right. So if I move left, now this is going to be -1, moving X is going to be true, and then moving left is also going to be true, but right is false now. So that's the case for basically all of the axes, and I'm saving all of the values and information that I need to do things. So sometimes I need to check if you pressed right, but before that you pressed left. So last axis is -1 now, but if I press right, then at that frame axis was x1, but last axis was x -1. So yeah. Anyways, I don't want to get too complex with this, but basically this is my system for checking inputs and doing things about the inputs. So whenever I press jump, you can see the boolean here setting, and when I'm holding it, I have jumped, which is just pressed, and then jump released, which is whenever you release the input. And I have that for all kind of other inputs that I will have in the game. So that's another thing I have. Then what other thing I have? I have this. Well, this is the thing we are potentially going to work on today if I don't take too much time. If I don't spend a lot of time explaining this, I will try to be a bit more faster to explain. But this is the entity behavior, and what this is basically a state machine, okay? Which says, okay, so whatever state, so basically entities can be at a certain state at once, okay? So just at one state at a time. So that could be idle, that could be run, that could be crouch, that could be jump, that could be interacting, that could be attacking. So all of those are different states for the character to have. So every game has this, and there's a million ways of working about this, but state machines are the most common and used way. So what is a state machine? Is what I just described. Is a thing. It's a system that handles what is the current state and the transition between states. Okay, so we have here the current state and the previous state, just to have a reference of which was the previous state. Then I have all states here just to have a reference of every state. And then we have a default state. In this case is idle. So this is going to, depending on my input, whenever I press jump, it's going to transition into the jump state, okay? And then each one of the states is going to have its own behavior. So usually states have a couple methods that they need to execute or run and do logic inside. So you have the enter method, then you have the update method, and then you have the exit method. So in the enter method, there's code that is going to be run just once whenever you enter to that state. The same thing happens with the exit method. That method is going to run just once whenever you exit that state. And then the update method is going to be executed every frame whenever that state is active. So that's basically the state machine. And for example, if I were to show you how the actual like idle state of the astronaut looks, like the script, I have a reference to all of the other states that I can transition to, okay? And then, which is like, this is not final, and this is one of the things I have to work on. So that's why we're going to be working on improving this. But for now, this is what I have, and this is, in most cases, this is just fine. It depends on the complexity of your game. But for example, in the idle animation, I know that from the idle state, I can go into run, I can jump, I can crouch, I can shoot. So I have a reference to all of those states. And then what I do is, well, I have the state update. I have a couple other methods that I did just for organizing different things and checking different things. But just so you know, these check action inputs and check movement inputs are both basically running in the update method of the state. So basically this is running every frame. So I'm checking if I'm moving X. Okay, if I'm moving X, it means I'm running like left or right, whatever. And in that case, I say, okay, machine transition to run. Okay, then if I press jump, okay, then I do, okay, machine transition to jump. If I move down, then I crouch. Okay, so that's basically how it works. That's the most basic way of doing this. Same thing with the attack. So I have a different for action inputs, just so I have like separated everything and not like everything in one big method. I like having things separated and organized. So I have check action inputs, and this is going to check if I'm attacking, is going to transition into the shoot state. And that's basically how it works. So there's other ways of like doing the actual checking of things to transition into other states and like handling those things. So right now I'm doing the checks inside each state, which like there's different ways of like thinking about this, and one of it is that, for example, you could say that states only should like notify whenever they are done, like finished, and that's it. So whenever a state is completed, then that's it, it's completed. But like it shouldn't be actually like telling the state machine to do anything. Like the state machine should be the one making decisions. So right now here, the decisions are being made by the state itself, because the state is saying, okay, I'm checking this, and if one of this happens, I'm going to say, machine, do this. So the state is controlling the machine, which in terms of responsibility and that kind of thing in like programming terms, that's like not ideal in most cases. I guess like you can do this, it works. You can see that I'm doing this and it works perfectly, but it depends on the like I mentioned before, it depends on the complexity of your games and like how deep your like behavior state tree is, because you might have a behavior state tree, or you might just have a really simple behavior state like system or structure. So if your character only runs and jumps, you don't need like a really complex state machine system. But in this game, I want to be able to run and shoot and attack multi-directionally, and then crouch and also attack, and then jump and also attack, but also interact, and also ledge grab and climb, and maybe wall jump. And you know, I want to do a lot of different things because I want the character controller to be complex, like not complicated but complex, in the sense of like having lots of actions that you can do. That's what I want for my game. So in this case, I need to find a better structure for this, and that's what I'm going to try to do. Okay. So that's the other thing I have. And how I like, where do I define the states? Where each one of the states is going to be defined under each one of those objects, which are like, I have a middle class, which is a state class, but it's a middle class that doesn't define any like logic of the state, but it's basically used for checking other things like the transitions and stuff like that. So I have the grounded mid state, which is, it's kind of an abstract state that then idle, run, crouch, hurt, and shoot inherit from. And then, for example, airborne is for the jump, fall, and jetpacking, and then climbed is for ledge grab and climb. So I have different like abstract states, like more general states where the astronaut can be. So it can be grounded, it can be mid-air, it can be grabbed to the wall, you know, and then from there I would define each one of the specific states that you can be while you're grounded, while you're airborne, and that kind of thing. So that's how I structure this. So you can see under grounded, I have all of the states here. Each one of these is a behavior state, basically. Okay. And each one of the states has an animation sheet that you can play. So this is the idle state. Well, it has the idle animation. The run state has the run animation. And whenever you enter a state, it will play the animation or do like the logic, whatever logic it needs to play the animation. Okay, so that's with the behavior state machine, the behavior system. Then I have the senses class, which is basically the class that has and controls the rigid body and all of the interactions. So whenever you detect the ground, to know if you're grounded, whenever it detects a ledge, to grab onto the ledge and climb. So all of those things are going to be handled by the senses class. But the senses class is more of a center point where it will initialize all of those systems and make the connections needed. But the actual logic, for example, for the ground detection is going to be here under the ground detector. Okay. Then I have this hurt handler, which is going to manage and handle the hurt state whenever you get hit, and all of the information about the hit you received, if it's from a projectile, if it has some kind of buff, or if it has poison, and how much damage it has, and which enemy was the sender of that attack, and that kind of thing. Then I have this called stats, which is really like not implemented at all. It's just there existing, and not, I think I'm not even using this. I have a couple variables here, but this class should be the one that handles all of the main like stats for the entity, for the character. So in this case, you would have stats for mobility. So that would be your speed, your airborne acceleration, so that you can move a little bit while you're in the air. And I don't know, your jump height, your damage, your HP, all of those things are going to live inside this stats class. Okay. But right now, I don't have any of that. There's no HP system right now because I don't really have a combat system yet. I have like a basic thing that I did just so I could test and do something. And I can show you that like really quick, just so you know what I'm talking about. But basically, I don't really have a proper combat system, not even the basics. I think I need to work on that, and whatever I did in the past, I need to improve. So I need to rework that mainly. So let me just see if I can find it and show it to you. So yeah, for example, this. You can see the shoot actually is working, and I have this little like square that's like an entity that it's, I don't know, it just chases you whenever it sees you, and then it can attack. So there's another video, yeah, this one. You can see that it's like there, but whenever it detects you, it tries to attack you, and it like follows you wherever you go, and tries to hit you. So, and that works. I think at the end here I actually show, yeah, it can hit you. So there like right now that's all broken because I'm refactoring a lot of things that have to do like with those systems. But yeah, there are a couple things that I already worked on for this to work, and I think most of that is going to be reworked anyways. So yeah. And what else? So yeah, I have this. Then I have this armory system, which is basically a kind of a manager for like, well, managing your weapons and which weapon you have equipped, and whenever you shoot, it's going to run the logic of that weapon when you shoot. So this is really early, really basic. So I will be working on this at some point too. And then I have this thing, which is the interaction folder, where I have all of the little, like all of the different like colliders and triggers for the different things. So this physics box is basically the collider, the physical collider that makes the astronaut not fall through the ground. So this is what makes it actually collide with the walls and ground. And it does nothing, it's just that. But then I have this ground detector, which is basically going to fire some, like cast some rays. It's going to do some ray casting into the ground to detect if you're grounded or not. Then I have this ledge detector, which has a little trigger for detecting ledges. Okay, so ledges like this. So whenever you detect this ledge, you can jump and grab onto the ledge and then climb it. That's another thing. And then I have the hurt box and the hit box, those kind of things. Okay, so I need to go to the bathroom. So I will be back in a bit. Okay, be sure to play some Arkanoid. Okay, check this out. Hey, are you playing? Did you win, Bacon? Oh, also, I don't remember if it works from YouTube, from the YouTube chat. You can see the YouTube. It doesn't? Yeah. Yeah, because actually, you can see that I'm not showing the YouTube chat like in the overlay, but yeah, I don't know why it doesn't work from YouTube. I must have something really silly to fix in the code. It must be some really silly mistake. But in any case, oh man, I need for this for this piece to be destroyed. Hey, welcome to the stream. You have been playing too. What is it? P2 now. Yeah. Now I need to destroy this last block. Oh, it was close. Really close. Okay, so yeah, basically I just finished explaining whatever is it. Oh yeah, I thought I was going to lose. Yeah, let's go. Hey how's it going? Welcome. Hello. Okay, so really long break. I needed some time there in the bathroom. But yeah, I'm back now. So yeah, as I was explaining, my hair is kind of whatever. So I just finished explaining the basic things and systems and structure I have for the character prefab and the scripts and all of that. So yeah, basically the other thing is that other than like structuring the prefab like this, you can see that this prefab is actually a prefab variant. You can notice by looking at the, like, how can I show it on stream? So you have this, not this face of the cube. This face is kind of like shadowed and has some lines. So this is a regular prefab and this one is a variant. So it means that it's a variant of another original prefab. So that's because it's a variant from the entity prefab. This is the entity prefab. And what is an entity? So this is what I have defined for any kind of thing or character or living being in the game that can have its own like intelligence and move around and do things. Okay, so it can be for, I don't know, maybe creatures or maybe some fauna in the planets. I don't know, maybe like wild animals or creatures or whatever name they could have in the game. Also for NPCs, so like characters that you can see and have dialogue with, and also for enemies. So they all are going to be a variant of this, of an entity. So they all share the same structure, the same things. Not everything is the same, because you can see the entity prefab has less things than the astronaut prefab, for example. And that is because not all of the entities are going to have, I don't know, ledge grab detection. Not all of them are going to have, I don't know, weapons. So it will depend. And basically, what is an entity in the scripting sense? So basically, I have this entity class which contains a lot of like references and methods, basic things. So they have an ID. This ID is going to have the name of this entity, and the unique ID. Okay, this is going to be a number, a code for identifying the entity. And then entities have a reference to their machine, which is the thing that controls the states, senses, the stats, the animatosmic, the input. Because input is not only for player inputs, it's also for whatever kind of thing that decides to do something. So the way I see it, and I think maybe this is a common way of seeing it, but I'm not sure, because I came to this in my own terms or whatever. But input is basically going to contain a set of actions that an entity can do. So in the case of the astronaut can jump, attack, run, whatever, interact. There are other entities that could do certain things too. So in those cases, the thing that's going to decide what the input is or do the input is, in the case of the player, is going to be you, the player, is going to do the inputs with the controller, with the keyboard, with whatever. But then in the case of, for example, enemies, the thing that's going to do the inputs and the actions is the AI. So I have another class called Virtual Brain, which is a class that has an algorithm for deciding what thing to do based on the current state. So if it is idle and there's no enemies or no player around, then the enemy is going to decide to patrol and then walk from one side to the other, for example. But then if the enemy sees the player, then it's going to start pursuing the player. For example, if the player is at a certain distance from the enemy, then the enemy can say, okay, if the player is this close to me, then I'm going to attack, maybe. And it has, so it's basically, that's why I call it a virtual brain, because you're like, when the player is doing the inputs, if you're the player, your brain is the thing that's deciding to do the inputs at a certain point. But in the case of the enemies, the brain is going to be the AI, the CPU, the computer. That is going to decide based on random numbers that happen. It's going to say, okay, now I do this, now I do this, now I do this. And that's how it works. That's how I structure the input logic basically in the system. So yeah, the enemies basically decide what input to do based on the state. That's how it works. So that's really cool, and this is really nice because it means that this is modular enough that, for example, if I want to, I can put a virtual brain to the astronaut, and the astronaut can start like doing inputs and running around and jumping based on whatever it wants. But also, for example, I can put a player input into an enemy, and you can control the enemy because the states are going to be controlled by the input basically. So, and I already tested that with this thing, the Quadstruct. This is called Quadstruct. It's just an abstract entity that behaves like an enemy and pursues you and just flies and attacks you. So at the point where I implemented that entity, the thing, this little quad square, I would say, I tested adding an astronaut input, which is the script that handles the player input, into this, and I could control the thing and move around and attack. So it's really fun. I really like that. And the other day I saw in somebody's Discord, I saw somebody shared, there's a video of like some people just basically grabbed the Mega Man 2 bosses and made them fight. So it seems like Mega Man bosses basically track the Mega Man's position, so the player's position, and then attack according to that. So what they did was basically just grab the each one and say, okay, so for this one, this is Mega Man, and for this one, this is Mega Man, and then they would fight and do their attacks and everything, and it was amazing. It was really, really fun. And I was thinking, like, maybe I could do that thing too. I don't know if that would be a thing in the game, but it's a fun experiment to do, like to grab two enemies and say, okay, now your target is this one and your target is this one. So now they can fight and do like their decision making and start doing, I don't know, it could be fun to watch, I think. Let me see if I can find that video, because it's really amazing. I don't know, I really like that. It's kind of like a tournament. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, so okay, that's really loud. Okay, so let me pause this. We're gonna watch for a little bit. It's a short video, but if you want to watch it later, I can post it in the... Oh, that's ambiguous prefab variants icons. Oh, yeah, I think you're really, really, really like delayed in the stream. I think you're seeing stuff that I said like maybe 5 minutes ago. So whenever you see this, be sure to like update, refresh the page so you're updated with the stream. So yeah, this is, you can see there, like, those are Mega Man 2 bosses. It's an NES game. And then basically just made them fight, like... I don't know, it's really fun. Really, really fun. And those are the typical attacks and patterns that they do whenever you fight them in the game. So yeah, they are tracking the position and jumping and doing stuff based on the other position. So, and I think that's, well, I don't really know what these people had to do to make this work, but that's only possible with a really, really modular like system for characters, so that you can switch around like the target and the behavior and what's an enemy, what's a target, what's... Yeah, I don't know. It's really fun. It's really, really fun. But yeah. Anyways, I don't want to deviate so much. It's already been 1 hour and a half, and I didn't get to work at all. So in any case, that's fine, because I honestly, like, I didn't... When I started like working on character systems and everything, like a couple weeks ago, or I would say the previous week, I didn't actually explain anything. I just started like refactoring things and whatever. But yeah, I guess that, like, for me, everything here is familiar with, because I have been working on this. But for the new people that comes into my stream or watches the YouTube videos, there's a lot of things that they might think, oh, this guy might have been working in this game for like, I don't know, maybe 5 years, like for the amount of things that I have already implemented. But yeah, I don't know. I actually have been working on this game for a couple years now, but the reality is I only work for, if you like sum every month I work on this game, it might be, for example, maybe 5 months of total work that I've done before I started this year actually working every week. So this year on March, I started working every week, like 3 to 4 times a week, just 1 or 2 hours, and that's basically the stream. So I started streaming just so I could work on the game and have full focus time on the game, and actually also document everything, that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm derailing completely in every step I do, like explaining whatever, I completely derail into a different thing. So, but that's fine. That's fine for this stream. I guess it's fine to be explaining everything so that everyone that comes that's new understands at least a couple things of what I'm working on currently. So yeah, you can see this in the entity script. There's some like references to all of the subsystems, the behavior, like the machine, the state machine, senses, stats, animatosmic input, and then I have the initialization of like every system that needs it. I have a couple other methods to change a couple things, which I might be like refactoring in the future. I don't know. For now, this is just fine. So now, what's the thing I want to do? So, basically, for this stream and for the next couple stream, I guess, I don't know how long it will take, but my idea is to basically just work on this, which is refactor behavior state. Okay, this is, well, I already talked about this for the past hour and a half, but right now, as I showed previously, I already have like some kind of structure for the states. So I showed you that I have this grounded thing, which is, it's already a class. So you can see here, astronaut grounded. What's this? So this is kind of a, like I said before, it's a middle point between the real state. So you can see that idle inherits from grounded. Okay, and now I think I don't know if this should inherit from grounded. I'm not sure what things it is actually inheriting from the grounded state, but what I do know is that what I should do, or what I feel like I need to do, is move all of these like checks for switching the state into the grounded script, into this, which is kind of a state. Well, actually, I do need to have this idle inherit from grounded, so that whenever we are on idle, then we are going to be doing whatever this state is doing. So yeah, forget what I just said about the inheritance, but yeah, what do I mean about this? So, for example, and I need to actually like start thinking about this, and I might need to start doing kind of a diagram of this so that it helps visualize this. I don't know if I can do it on this stream. We'll see, but I want to at least just go through what I think I need and I need to work on. So, for example, here in the idle state, I'm basically checking. Well, I have a reference to all of these states. Okay. So what's the deal with this? Basically, what I'm defining here is that from the idle state, I can go into any of those states whenever a certain condition is met. So, as I was showing earlier, if you press the jump button, then the state is going to say, hey machine, go to jump state. Okay, now that's fine, and I can just go ahead and keep doing this, but the more complex this gets and the more layers I start adding to the states, I think I'm going to be repeating a lot of code everywhere, which I'm kind of doing in some places. So what do I mean by this? Basically, whenever I press, like, for example, whenever I press the shoot input, I'm saying, hey, transition to the shoot state. Okay, that's fine, but like shooting is not only possible while you're idle. You should be also able to shoot while you run. So whenever you're running, if you press the shoot button, you should, like the astronaut should start shooting or attacking, whatever. So what does that mean? That means that now you can already see the problem. In the run class, in the run state, I have the exact same references, except of the first one, which is here is run and here is idle, but the other three are exactly the same. So now I have two classes, two states that have the exact same references to other states, and that's not great. Okay, in programming terms, that's repeating code, and that's not great. That's not a good practice. It's fine, it will work. It's like you can do this and it will work, and in terms of the final product, like it can work and it can be playable and whatever. Like it's, the game is not going to be like hurt by this, but what is going to be hurt by this is me or whatever developer that joins me to work on this. And that's because let's say you can not only run, but you can also walk. So now I would have to create a new state called walk, which is fine, that's perfect. But then the run and walk states should also be able to transition to the jump, crouch, and shoot states, because why not? They should be. So now I have to copy this, and all of the checkings I'm doing here, everything I should copy into the walk state. So now you might be like getting the point now. I'm basically repeating this, and it might be like there might be a lot of other cases where I might need to keep repeating this too. So that's not great. Okay. So where should this happen? Well, for this is the one of the purposes of the grounded class, which is kind of, like I said, is kind of an abstract state where idle, run, you can see here, idle inherits from grounded, run inherits from grounded, and what happens is, if I move this into the grounded state and then do the checkings here, then it means that I'm only doing the checks just in this class and not in this one, and also in this one, and also in any other class that might need to check if you can jump or crouch or shoot from this state. Okay, so what this means is then I need to, so this is the part where I need to start thinking about how I want to do this, how I want to code the logic for checking things here, because what's going to happen is now here in, for example, this method called check for transition, which is running the update method, is going to run every frame. So basically what this is doing is, for now, this is just checking if we are falling. So if we are not grounded, we are falling. Okay, that's all. And also if we're being hurt, or if we're getting hit by something, if we are receiving damage, then we transition to the hurt state. Now the thing is, the hurt state, we need a hurt state for when we are grounded, and also one for when we are airborne, for example. So we need to do some extra checkings to see if we can be hurt and what the context is. But then, for example, we know that astronaut shoot, this one is also from grounded, but we can also shoot in the air. I also want to be able to shoot in the air. So how do we do that? Well, we would need another state called air shoot, but this should be called ground shoot, for example. And now the thing is, this state, well, I think I should have like one state for each attack, for each different weapon and whatever, just to keep this simple, because otherwise this script will be really big. So that's one of the things I always recommend to, if you can, do like more like scripts, but with fewer lines of code. That's much better than having just one script with a lot of code. So always try to create scripts to do specific things. Okay, so if you need to, for example, code the movement of your character, so like the horizontal movement on ground, then you have a script for that called, for example, player movement on ground. Then if you need some logic for making the player jump and what happens when you jump, like the actual logic that makes the character jump and do the thing, that would be another script. And then if you need like another action like crouching, that should be another script. So that way you would have lots of scripts, which is, for me, it's fine. But each one of those scripts is going to be much smaller and much easier to debug and fix and work on. So that's something I always recommend. So in this case, this is a good example. So this shoot state, it could handle every possible case of shooting. So if we're shooting with a pistol, if we're shooting with a rifle, if we are shooting with a bow or whatever, I can handle everything here in this same class, but that would end up with a really big script, and that's not great. So that's why I think I should be creating a different state for each kind of attack. Oh, by the way, I don't know if I will be doing something like having different weapons in the game. I think you're only going to have just one weapon, which is your pistol, like your blaster or whatever name I come up with at some point for your weapon. But it's going to be just that weapon. You're going to be having just one weapon forever. But that weapon is going to have different kinds of attacks or projectiles or whatever. So you can, like, what I want to do is that you can find or unlock abilities to do with your weapon. So yeah, kind of like, I don't know, kind of like Metroid, for example, where you always have just your one like cannon from the arm. I don't know the name, but then you can switch to other types of projectiles. So you have your missile, you have your bombs or whatever. If you played Super Metroid, if you didn't play it because it's a really good game. But yeah, kind of like that, where you're kind of unlocking different abilities. And I'm also tempted to do some kind of like build concept where you can like equip abilities, and then you can have like different combat styles based on that. I don't know. Like in my mind, I'm trying to do something because this is a game where you don't have like a melee weapon. There's no melee combat. Like you don't have melee combat. Like enemies can have like swords or like, I don't know, melee weapons, but you don't. You have like a ranged weapon. So I'm trying to think of ideas to make like ranged weapon combat feel like melee combat. I don't know. It's kind of a really weird idea, and I would try to I want to experiment with that since I can, and this is not just a project for me to I don't have a deadline. I'm not whatever. I can do whatever I want with this project, so I will take that freedom and just experiment with things that I think are interesting for me. So we'll see what comes out of that. But in any case, again, I derailed again. So yeah, for example, that's another example. So we might want to shoot like not only in the ground, also while we crouch too, but also when you jump. When you jump, I want to have the ability to shoot midair. And another thing to have in mind is that I don't really want, well, this is not going to be the typical controller where you have like your torso, like your upper part of the body separate from your legs. So you know those games where you can run and attack at the same time. So for example, I think one of the games that does that is Terraria and Starbound, for example. Well, in this game, I kind of want you to stop. Whenever you do an attack, you will stop. So this is more like, I would say, I don't know, Blasphemous. So whenever you... Crashman was too OP. What's Crashman? So yeah, whenever you shoot, like, there's no run shoot. You cannot run while shooting. This is not a run and gun game. This is going to be more like an action, it's going to be a slower game in combat terms. So for example, in Metroid, you can run and shoot too, but oh, the video I posted it. Yeah. Crashman was the champion? It was too OP. Was it the one that always had like a point where it was like really low HP, but somehow it will like clutch the fight, the round? Oh man, that's a really good video. I want to see more of that kind of thing with other games. Maybe like, I don't know, I only played like a couple of the NES Mega Man, like Mega Man 1, 2, 3, but I didn't beat them because I played them as a kid and they are really hard. But I saw like a bunch of other Mega Man games because I follow streamers and some of them play like Mega Man, all of the Mega Man games on the NES, and also some of the Mega Man X, which look really good. I think I will play them at some point, but I don't know. I don't remember if I saw like Mega Man X bosses that were like those in the video. So I don't know if that would be possible with Mega Man X bosses, but it would be really fun if they managed to do that. I have an emulator handheld and they still are really hard. Yeah, they are pretty hard. I did play, and this is I'm very proud of. But I have beaten the 3 original Ninja Gaiden games, like the NES ones. Those are hard as hell. They are really hard games. But that was not, of course, when I was a kid. That was a couple years ago when I said, okay, I'm going to play these games and I'm going to beat them. Doesn't matter if it takes weeks. It actually didn't take that long. I think I finished them like in a couple days. But yeah, those are really hard games. Nice, I only beat them when I was young, but was not able to now. Yeah. The thing is, those games are really hard until you memorize like where the enemy placements are, like what to expect in each level. So once you understand that and memorize that, that's the case with like most of the hard retro games. It's just memorizing patterns and enemy placements, stuff like that. And then once you learn that, then you can beat it really easily. Well, not really easily, but yeah, you can enjoy them. So yeah. Okay, so well, I think I should actually be ending the stream soon. But yeah, I think I did a really good, I don't know, brain process of everything, the stream. It was useful for me. I didn't do any actual like tangible progress in the game, but yeah, I think next stream what I would do is I think I will do some kind of diagram, like I was saying, like I will start doing like drawing a diagram to think about the structure of how they should work and how the relation between the states and how they should transition and all of that, like the transitions and the communication between the states. So I think that's going to be my task for the next stream. Okay. So yeah, but for this stream, I think we are pretty much done. Like I could start doing something now, but I only have like, I don't know, 5 minutes, so I need to go soon. So yeah. Okay. Anyways, yeah, this was a really good stream. I got to talk a lot. Gee, glad I stopped in. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much for following and for being here. It was really really nice chatting for a little bit. So yeah. So yeah, I think that's going to be the stream. Okay. Again, thank you very much, everyone who came into the stream, everyone who watched, who chatted, or anything. Everyone who played Arkanoid. Thank you very much. So as always, I will recommend you to join the Discord, okay? If you want to get notifications when I go live and you don't want to rely on the Twitch bell notification thing that doesn't ever always work, just be sure to join the Discord and you will get notified there. I will tag everyone and say, hey, I'm live. I always do. So that's a really nice way of getting notified. And then also, if you want to share anything there, if you're playing games, if you're doing art and you want to share your art there and get some feedback, for example, you can share anything there or just chat about anything. It's a good place. Okay. So yeah, and I can see. Is this you? Did you just join the Discord? Okay, that's really good. So yeah, that's what I have to say. Join the Discord. Also, yeah, I'm both all 01. No, all 1 or 01. It's one or the other. So okay, thank you very much for joining. And yeah, okay. If you want to also watch all of my other streams since I started streaming this this year, and since I started streaming the development of Voyager, you can go into my YouTube channel, okay, and subscribe there. So do I have this comment? Yeah, so subscribe to my YouTube channel and you can check out, you can go there. I have a playlist there called Voyager Dev Journey, and you can go there and you can watch all of the streams, okay? That's really good. And yeah, with that, we have a finished stream. Thank you again very much. I'll change it in your Discord. Okay, yeah, that's no problem. You can keep whatever name you want there. That's not an issue at all. Okay, so again, thank you very much. Thank you, Ponce, for the follow. And that's gonna be it for today, okay? See you in the next stream. Bye bye.